of all, what are your personal opinions on like the celebrity CEO, specifically Musk?
I think it's better that we have celebrity CEOs than celebrities.
Ooh.
Like, it's like saying, what do you think about these green smoothies? Well, were we going to just have like milkshakes instead? Then it's probably a health improvement, even if eating nothing but green smoothies probably isn't good for you.
You're saying like you'd rather somebody be famous for doing something great than just be famous for the sake of being famous. So
Right.
Musk over Kardashian.
Well, I mean, is there any debate? Like,
Well, it depends what you need. You need an electric car. You need to evacuate your testicles.
Well, I think that's why people buy those electric cars.
I'll send something to Mars.
No, it's like, look, if we're going to...
Tilt the mic back over to you.
One,
Yeah,
the celebrity CEO is not new. We've had a lot of them. I mean...
Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan. I mean, those guys, the robber barons were probably all celebrities at the time.
Well, look at some of the antics that like Tesla and what's his name? Edison, sort of, some of their sort of...
Oh, Nikola.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The original Tesla.
If you look at some of their sort of battles,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. I think Edison electrocuted an elephant as like a public display to prove that
He had the best
Tesla was a
electricity?
cuck. I think that's how it went. It was something like that. So one, none of this stuff is new.
Yeah.
The idea of sort of a prominent CEO. I mean, Howard Hughes, I guess, was kind of was Elon Musk before Elon Musk, and it worked out well.
Well, did it?
No, he ended up peeing in jars. So look, it's like if we have.
I want to make this so you can.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Sorry. So go, and we're back.
So in a nutshell, famous smart people probably better than famous dumb people.
I'm cool with that.
As a general thing.
I didn't. I wasn't asking more of like from an ethical standard. I meant as a tool for the business. Is it a useful tool, or are you putting too much liability on the company on your actions as a person?
It's both, right? Like if you look at, I was having a debate with one of my business partners that we also share some investment initiatives with.
Yeah, Adam.
And we were talking about sort of investing, in Tesla versus Amazon at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And he was sort of following a lot of the kind of Kathy Woods sort of mentality and was really bullish on Tesla. And I'm like, I really respect what they've done. I think what they've done is incredible. But I find that I feel safer with my money with someone like Bezos that seems more methodical, a little bit more measured. I think Elon Musk is a singular, brilliant genius. But with any genius, there's no such thing as a bulletproof genius that hits to all fields. He's not like a five-tool player. He's asymmetrically talented in this sort of area, but he's still going to be a flawed individual as anyone else. And when so much of the corporate identity is tied up to him, and so much of the stock price is tied to retail investors that are sort of evangelizing for a truly great person, but perhaps not really seeing that there is no such thing as an individual entity in business. It's all teamwork. It's all collaboration. There's thousands of employees. There's thousands of engineers all working together, and he's a fantastic leader. Yeah. But it is it's something that would show up, I think, in the stock price that if he dies, if something happens to him, an accident.
Game over.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. And yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
It's not well diversified in terms of its leadership.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with the question, right? Is when you evangelize a CEO, you can probably take the company higher than if you really promote or exalt the company itself, right? Because we can look at one person as almost, for lack of a better word, a god, right? But we don't really look at companies like that. We think they're really cool, but we're not going, oh my God, you have superhuman powers. And superhuman powers can take you up there, but they can also take you way down. The second Kanye leaves Yeezy, I don't know if it has any value. Right? Because we're really investing in Kanye.
What about Steve Jobs?
So here's a perfect example. Jobs, right? Like Jobs was this person that like kind of became a superhero late in his career. Earlier in his career, they bounced his ass out of the company. Right? Like, I feel like we almost have revisionist history with Jobs because he wasn't initially I had one of those first, I think it was a Macintosh. I had one of them as a kid, right? And like, I never was like, oh, Steve Jobs is the man.
Right.
I just thought that the company was really cool. Macintosh, the Apple, the thing was a little bitten out of, it was cool. The branding was great. So I guess what I'm wondering, you could even see it with Dave Portnoy, right? The company Portnoy's porn comes out, spend dips 5% on the stock market. I think it was 5 or 10 or something like that, right, Dov? Or something like that. So you when you are tied to the stock price, when the personality and the actions of that person are tied to the stock price, there's immense pressure to live life a certain way and make all those decisions because your personal decisions can affect the company. As brilliant as Jeff Bezos is, I don't know if the average person is going, Jeff Bezos is smarter than Elon.
I think we have a...
Do you think the average person thinks that Bezos is smarter than Elon? Or is he like, no, he just figured out how to put things in boxes good?
I think the average person confuses company leadership with the idea of inventing. People think that Elon invented things when really he's leading a complex team through a scientific and engineering process to make innovation at scale in these new markets.
Yeah.
And that's leadership, vision, and coordination, not like I figured out the special formula of mixing this with this.
To be fair to Elon, he is also capable as an engineer. Right? Whereas Bezos is not an engineer, so he's not going to be working on the rockets for Blue Horizon. Right? He'll be an amazing leader and get the people who will build those rockets and know how to manage them and get the most out of them. But when push comes to shove, from what I've read, is sometimes Elon will get in there, get down with the nitty gritty because that is his background.
Right. But I think what they're really getting rewarded for is their ability to play this complex chess game of deploying capital and resources towards nonlinear processes that are unpredictable. Right. And that's what sort of research.
Give me an example of a nonlinear process that's unpredictable.
The development of figuring out the best way to make an electric car. If there aren't a lot of electric cars already and the previous ones were very unsatisfactory from a customer standpoint, they have a bunch of hypotheses that they're going to test, but no one's manufactured those at scale before.
So a linear process is?
It's like a recipe. Here's how to make chocolate chip cookies.
Give me chocolate chips, give me flour, sugar, boom.
Right. You know all the variables. It's just like you doing it and you're going to get better at it over time.
So nonlinear is, we know how they did it before. That might not be the best way. Let's find a new way to create the recipe for this. And I know how much capital that we need to deploy in order to do that.
Right.
I know the people that we need to hire, et cetera.
Right. And when you have too many unknown variables, you have to kind of make working hypothesis. You can't predict it all. You have to kind of guess on this and then watch the results, track that, learn from that mistake, apply it to a different thing, try something else, and it's sort of experiment and advance. So I think that's what's really good about them is I don't think they have this perfect roadmap from when they started Amazon or Tesla and this is where we're going. What they had to sort of see was to learn on the fly, keep deploying capital, keep impressing investors to keep more capital coming in, and then keep sort of managing that relative to the increasing amount of competition they have on all fronts. Both of these companies have taken on all comers. I mean, remember that company like Jet or something like that was we're going to compete with Amazon and then nothing. Or it's now there's every car company says we're going to make electric cars and stuff like that. So I think it's not the genius of sort of I figured out this product. I'm an inventor and then I translate into a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think it's really this game of strategically seeing the whole field and industry and then deploying resources appropriately.
But the stock price goes up when we think he's a great inventor.
Yeah.
Literally, we're at least 3 of the 4 of us in this room, meaning everyone except you, has invested in Tesla because we think Elon's the best inventor. Not because he's good at, nonlinear capital deployment. You know what I'm saying?
I've invested
if we're being honest, I'm that motherfucker just made an electric car really good. He's probably going to make a spaceship even better. He's going to go to Mars. Okay, take a few $1,000s, Elon. That's literally my thinking with Tesla.
I invested in Tesla even though I thought it was overpriced simply because I had FOMO and so many of my close friends were heavily invested in Tesla and I wouldn't feel comfortable with them being significantly wealthier than me.
Yeah. I feel you. That's the only reason why I have crypto.
Yeah, it's
it's fucking Akaash.
It's
and
the
he's going to
FOMO.
lose me so much money when it all goes to the bottom.
The FOMO investment strategy.
Yeah.
One of my close friends that's invested in some of my real estate projects, he invests in all of our friends from college's startups strictly because he just couldn't live with himself if one of his friends blew the fuck past him.
I'd rather lose $100,000 than be poorer than my best
Absolutely. Because it makes it awkward.
It really does. Hey, it makes it awkward. You know what's not awkward? When they're poorer than me.
Yeah.
Not awkward at all.
Or if we're all poor together, that's great. That's how we started. Best time of our life.
It's like the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
All for one, one for all.
Yeah, all at the bottom.
Okay, fair enough. So it does make it, so it is a little trickier, and maybe Elon is misunderstood, but he understands that him being misunderstood is advantageous.
Yeah. I think the thing that's really interesting is what he kind of is doing jokingly with like Dogecoin and tweeting about it and just like driving these
What is his thing with Dogecoin? First of all, are you familiar with Dogecoin and what it is?
I took an edible one night. I saw some really cute doggy memes. I'm kind of partial to animal videos and memes in general.
Yeah.
And so I went on Robinhood and I think I bought like maybe like $2 to $3 grand. No, like just kind of like
dabbled.
Yeah, I bought it like just under 1 cent a coin.
Okay.
And then I immediately texted my buddy Norbert. Shout out to Norbert. And it's like, hey, I bought some Dogecoin. You want in? He's like, fuck. And so of course he has to buy some because doesn't want anyone to get ahead of him.
Yeah.
And it sort of went up to like 4 cents. We hedged our bet, sold off like our initial sort of stake, and then sort of watching. Now it's like at 40 cents and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
But my thought was just like, I was looking at, it was trending on Twitter for like days and days in a row.
Yeah.
And when I look at like, if you were to spend money, you know how you'll see like, oh, this new movie, Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan is like, you know, the promoted trending thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's probably really expensive. I don't know exactly how much it costs to put yourself on the trending page for a media campaign.
Yeah.
But it's got to be probably low six figures, high five figures at the very least.
Let's assume it is. Sure.
So if Dogecoin was getting that kind of media value organically every day, regardless of what you think of the asset, I know something about sort of media pricing and exposure. And I'm like, they're organically generating a lot of views. So if I'm buying that at 1 cent and they're consistently getting this much view, I'm only investing in that sort of phenomena, not in any fundamental.
So let's digest it, right? So basically you're saying if it wasn't Dogecoin, if it was an advertising for underwear or something like that, and they were going to yield like 1% return on the trending, not trending advertising, or on their advertisements, right? Or let's say that 5% of the people that saw their advertisement up on Twitter were going to go buy the underwear. You can apply the same thing to Dogecoin trending organically.
Right. You can be a viable business with just one advantage. Yeah. And if you have like 3 or 4 that stack and play well with each other, you can be a juggernaut.
Yeah.
So if somebody, and this is why sort of like influencer created products are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That if they speak to the audience demographic of that influencer and they're cost neutral, and that person has unlimited inventory to publicize it to a pretty good sized audience, they're going to have a competitive advantage. Yeah. Now, they might not be able to scale, and they might be limited at like a $300,000 a year in sales kind of company.
Yeah.
But they have an advantage from zero to something.